Hey guys, Dee Dee here. So last week Shantavia and I did a live from CD Beauty page, and on that live we asked you guys what other topics did you want us to discuss, and someone suggested that we do a video with Mythbusters, so myth versus fact. And so they wanted to do both hair and makeup, and today we're going to tackle hair. Okay, here we go. First up, trimming your hair every 6 weeks makes it grow faster. That's a myth. Trimming your hair, honestly, 6 to 8 weeks is for maintenance. It's to prevent breakage and split ends. Your hair is dead down there. It doesn't have nothing to do with your scalp. Does cutting mend a split end? I'm going to have to say that that is technically a myth. So really what happens when you have a split end is that your cuticle part of your hair is pretty much non-existent. It's exposing that cortex part of your hair, and it's unraveling and causes like this fraying and causes the split end. And there's a part of that that can split all the way to the root. At that point, there's nothing we can do. So cutting it is not going to necessarily mend it, but it will, as I say with the trims in the previous question, it can prevent it from splitting to the root. But once it does that, does dandruff signify a dry scalp? That's a myth. The truth is, dandruff and dry scalp have very similar symptoms, but there are two different types of conditions. Dandruff is too much oil. It's an excess amount of oil. It causes it to flake off. Dry scalp is just that. It's dry scalp, it's itchy, and it's probably because your hair is dehydrated. Does Rogaine work? That's actually true. Technically, Rogaine does work. I've actually used it myself when I first was recovering from the thyroid cancer disease, which a lot of you guys know that. I had that way over 10 years ago, and it does grow. In fact, there has been plenty of clinical studies showing that it does. The thing is, it doesn't work for everyone, and it doesn't, and it's not, and those that it worked for, it's not going to work the same for everyone. You have to know that it's only going to grow back hairs that are growable. Does your hair get thicker during pregnancy? That's actually true. So during your pregnancy, you have these high levels of estrogen, which tends to extend the growth phase and therefore minimizing the resting phase through the growth cycles. And but the thing to that too is that after birth, you experience this like ridiculous amount of postpartum shedding, and that's because of the fact that you've been doing nothing but growing hair the whole time you were pregnant. Does light hair, or is light hair weaker than dark hair, was the question. That is technically a myth. And I say that for natural hair. So if you're a naturally blonde people actually have more hairs on their head. Like they have the most dense hair of any other color. In fact, they have like 140,000 hairs on their head, opposed to like a natural redhead only has like 90,000. And I think like black hair tends to have around 108,000. Even though blonde hair may be appear to be finer, they have it can be fine rather. They have very, very dense hair. So if we're basing off that definition, then that's a myth. But if we're talking about color treated hair, that's a whole different story, child. What is up with gray hair? Really? I don't know what that question is, but I can say about gray hair. Gray hair is technically not gray, right? It's that it's hair that lacks pigment, no melanin. There's no color there. So you get this kind of opaque-ish, white, color to it. It is incredibly coarse, and for most people, extremely irritating. But I say embrace your grays. Over time, it's going to be beautiful. Who cares? Gray is a sign of beauty and wisdom. That was all the main questions. There were a couple of others that I'm not even going to get to on this video. But if you guys have any questions that you want us to answer, please, again, shoot us a DM, email, wherever. Just hit us up. Cheeks Pro, Dee Dee Paint Artistry, CD Beauty Studio, and we will try our best to answer them truthfully. Peace.